Hey, my name is Ginger. I own a company called Ginger Leigh Designs, and I have for many, many years now. A little bit of history about myself I thought would be a great place to start, and so here we go. When a lot of people ask me, did I go to art school and whatnot? I did not actually, in fact, go to art school, but I grew up in a really creative home. My mom always wanted to travel, and so she would do these little boutiques, and in these boutiques she would sell items that she would hand make. She'd take a bunch of orders, and then people would come back in November to buy them in time for Christmas. And then her hope was always that we would make money, that we could take a little vacation somewhere. My dad, I grew up with him doing the carpentry, so she would do the designs. My dad would cut the wood. And then because she had such great success with her designs, we would have to end up helping out. So I grew up with staining wood, learning how to toll paint, learning how to stencil, fraying the edges of burlap to make placemats, just all sorts of crazy things. But I would definitely say that that's probably what inspired some love of creativity for me in my life. I actually went to school and studied in a pre-med degree with the hopes of going on to medical school, but we had our first child. My husband and I had our first child when we lived in Colorado, and so I didn't go on to medical school. And I also started to design cards where I would use scrapbooking paper and cardstock and ribbons and all kind of embellishments. I'd often submit them to the Somerset Studio magazines, and I had been published several times, so I kind of got this love of producing paper things and just like embellishing. And really, if you think about it on a card, it's actually kind of like a little piece of art. There's like content, you have to have balance and just all that stuff. It's really fun. It's like a multimedia piece of art. Honestly, it's just in a small form as a card. And so I definitely say that inspired a lot of the direction that I went with creating art. But the stationery instead led me to owning a stationery company, actually, where I would actually use scrapbooking paper and print people's names, cut it out, attach it to the card, and put a piece of ribbon through it, and then bundle them with envelopes and sell them to people that way for their children, for thank you notes and little enclosure cards and stuff like that. And eventually, scrapbooking paper wasn't enough for me, and so I started designing my own things, and I taught myself Photoshop and Illustrator on the computer, and went to a printer who then started printing my cards. Had really good success with that as well, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Learned how to make perfect circles by using the computer, which was a little bit disappointing when I started to paint, because you can't make a perfect circle when you're painting usually. But anyway, it led me to understanding borders and balance and color, just theory and all that kind of stuff, kind of organically and not through school, just through experience. Learned a ton about the printing companies in general and how it works. But importer found out about me and asked me to submit some designs for some picture frames, and so I did. And he brought my picture frames to market in Atlanta, and they did really, really well. And that was kind of the beginning of that part of my life, because what would happen is when we were in the slower seasons, I would start to make one-of-a-kind originals, and other shops found out about me doing this and wanted to see if I would wholesale. So I picked up onesie, twosie shops. I also opened my own retail location, and so shop owners would find me that way. But it was really great fun. We had probably like just 10 wholesale accounts, and my dad has always helped me. So he would carry the saw in and out from the shop to be able to cut the wood for me, to be able to paint and then sell to the wholesale accounts. And I also had the retail space that people would come in and visit, and they just were thrilled down here at the beach to walk into a shop and be able to see it as a studio, like a working studio. So it was really kind of fun, and I got to talk to a lot of people and meet a lot of people, and people would make requests, and so that would spur on an idea that I would have, and that would generate a new line, so on and so forth. Somebody suggested that I should go do the Country Living Fair, because I was doing festivals a lot. And so I went and applied to the Country Living Fair in Atlanta and got juried and accepted to have a booth there, which was very eye-opening, because it was a massive fair with tons and tons of people from all over the country, basically. Even some people from not in our country, actually. But it was really, really a new experience for me, because it was just massive. But while I was there, a couple of different people from Atlanta Market, which is the wholesale division of sales, if you will. So it's where retailers go to buy their wholesale products, or to view the lines that they'll order, and then they'll get shipped to them however long later, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, a whole year sometimes. They order in January for Christmas. And so a couple of different sales reps essentially who would sell the booth spaces at Market left their card with me and suggested that it would be a really good option for me. And I was kind of dragging my feet. This show was in October. I was kind of dragging my feet about it. I kept putting it off and putting it off. And the show Market starts in January, but Country Living was in October. So I kept putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And right after Christmas, I got in touch with this one lady from Market and said, I'll take it. I'll go to Market. I've never done this before. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to try. Why not try? So I'll keep the rest of it for another time. But that's kind of where it all started for me. Thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any requests or questions, please comment below. And again, thanks for spending time with me today, and take care.